अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर।
वालेकुम सर।
Assalamu alaikum to everybody. In the last class, we were discussing about the first application of Bohr's atomic model, that is called radius. What is the expression for radius? What are the conclusions with respect to radius? How we are going to discuss a graphical representation. This is still in continuation, it's not over. Yesterday we have taken radius versus principal quantum number. We have taken graph, parabolic and straight line. Radius versus atomic number, we get to straight line and rectangular hyperbola. This right hand side graph is called rectangular hyperbola, and this is called parabolic graph. Take graphical representation is a proper way because we have direct questions possible in 4 marks. Come on. Now come to next slide. Suppose, for example, you are taking R versus Z. Go back to this one. Yesterday we have discussed R is proportional to 1 by Z. So if you want to take this plot, then we have a 1 by Z. R is a straight line. Now, if I want to extend this graph for different values of N, see what happens? N1, Nx, Ny, Nz. 1, 2, 3 I'm not taking because it is not first, second, third. Any number, X, Y, Z. Now, the question that fellow will ask you, suppose, for example, I have kept Z constant. Say, for example, I have taken a specific value of Z. For example, see this one. I have taken this value. This is constant, suppose. Then, for this constant value, I can draw a line like this, right? Now, that fellow will ask you, please arrange Nx, Ny, Nz, all these things in a increasing or decreasing order. That will be the possible question for us. So whenever we are having that type of discussion, very simple, take the graph, extend the graph of 1 by Z. I've extended. Now see here, in this case, R value is supposed to be maximum. R value is minimum here in this case. So if R is maximum, directly proportional to N square. So N is maximum here. Here R is minimum, therefore N is minimum. So who is large? Nz is more. Nz is more than Ny, more than Nx. So whenever we have two such properties to be compared, remember that we should take plot and we should take a particular specific value of x-axis, then make a straight line and choose the value of R. Select this. Sir, this is maximum value. Okay, if it is maximum, what about Nz? See the relation. If suppose you are having R proportional to N square, it is directly proportional to each other. If it is directly proportional, you can go ahead, sir. We can talk about increase in principal quantum number. Radius also increases. So Nz more than Ny, more than Nx. Come on, next one. Fine. Suppose, for example, if I am having Z value as, say, for example, N. Z is equal to, I am having some fixed value, say for example, hydrogen, say for example, helium ion, something else like that. Then R is equal to 0.529 by Z n square. I am taking this to be as a constant property. If you go to mathematical treatment, y is equal to mx. This is called slope of the graph. So R is proportional to n square. Now I am taking two parameters. First orbit, any higher orbit, n1, 1, n2, n. Your choice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The examiner will create some question here. So if it is so, remove this constant, n1 is equal to 1, n2 is equal to n whole square. Apply log both the sides. If you are having mathematical background, you can enjoy this one. Log of Rn by R1. For IIT people, this is a beautiful question for 4 marks. Then if you apply log, this 2 becomes here 2 log n. Now, this is y-axis. See the graph. Log Rn by R1. This is y-axis. Log n, this is x-axis. So y is equal to mx. What is m? M stands for slope. Slope is equal to 2. They'll ask you this one. They will ask you the graph with respect to ratio of radius, log of that, and log of principal quantum number. Now, if you want to go one more beautiful application of this, then go for area of the orbit. Radius of orbit, okay, sir, directly proportional to n square. But what about area by r square? And when you say r square, it becomes into the power 4. See here, that 4 comes here. Therefore, if you take log of radius ratio, we are getting slope as 2. If you take log of area ratio, we'll get 4. Now see here, log of, this is wrong here, make correction, log of an by a1. This is not radius, this is area. If you take area and log n along x-axis, then the slope of the graph will be 4, right? Come on, that is graphical application. Next very beautiful information is, this itself is a 4 marks question. Consider hydrogen atom, means I have finished. Z is equal to 1. R is equal to 0.529 n square by Z angstrom unit. Now see what I am doing. I am calculating R1. What is R1? 0.529 into 1 square. I got it. R2, 2 square. I got it. Now let us compare R1 and R2. Difference of this R2 minus R1. How much? 0.529 into 4 minus 0.529. Take common 0.529. 4 minus 1 into 3. I think you are able to understand. You people are genius mathematicians. So difference between second and first orbit is into 3. Exactly similar way. Tell us, take 3 to R3 minus R2. What is the physical meaning of this? Distance between third orbit and second orbit. Third orbit and second orbit. Here what I have done? Second and first. I am taking now third and second. What is that? 9 minus 4, 5. Is it correct? Yes. It is 0.59 into 5 angstrom. Next, R4 minus R3, 0.529%. Sir, what you are trying to do? Okay, I am trying to find out distance between any two successive orbits, right? In the previous class, I shown that as you increase the principal quantum number, radius of orbit increases. That's over already. Now we are discussing another issue. Okay, sir, radius of orbit increases, but what about distance between two orbits? Is it same? No. See here, first and second orbit 3 times, second and third orbit 5 times, and fourth and third and fourth 7 times. That means with increase of principal quantum number, radius of orbit increases. That is clear to everybody. No. At the same time, distance between successive orbits also increases. Yes, that means two orbits will never be having same distance. Always, whenever we are talking about distance between, now see this figure carefully. See first and second, very close. Second and third, third and fourth, fourth and fifth. See the gap, see the gap. As you're increasing principal quantum number, radius is increasing, no doubt. At the same time, distance between successive orbits also increasing. Right down up to this. That is the end of first application. Let us do problems based on that one. First complete this, then we'll proceed. Go ahead. graphical representation is very, very useful for IIT mains. In the second graph, violet color graph, please write in AN. This is not R. This is A. This is left hand side graph is R. Right hand side graph is A, area. This is misprinting here, mistyping. AN by A1. A1 area of first orbit. AN I am comparing with any orbit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, anything. Shall I proceed? Okay, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Left hand side graph is radius, right hand side graph is area. Please make correction there. Y axis log of AN by A1. This right hand side graph. Very good. Come on. Now come to problems. Question number 1. Okay, go ahead. Hurry up. Dayiq Ahmad, it's over. Nasser, Nihal Nasser, is it over? Fine. Saidur Rahman, shall I proceed? Done. Calculate the radius of Bohr's third orbit. Okay, radius of Bohr's third orbit. 3. Okay, and then lithium ion. What is lithium ion? Z. Hydrogen, helium, lithium. Come on. He's asking radius. What to do? Nursery question. 0.529. See that angstrom given to you. 529 into what was that? N square by Z. That is angstrom. Therefore, 0.529 into N square. What is N square? 9 by Z. 3. Simplify, and that is answer. Go ahead. $1.587. Very good. Come on. Now just check up. Read the questions. I think you can go ahead to 2, 3, 4. You can do it. I'll go to 5th one. Take that, what you can say, question number 2, 3, 4 as your homework. They are simply substitution of formula. These are not suitable for IIT students. However, we have to go. We can't take risk for that one. If radius of second orbit of lithium ion is x, come on, question number 5 I am doing. Radius of second orbit, I'll write like this, of lithium ion, okay, I'll write like this, is equal to dash, what, x. Then find radius of first orbit, of helium ion in terms of x. Okay, let us see how to proceed. It's a very beautiful question. These type of questions are possible for us. How to go for that? What I do, first of all, I'll write down radius of R2 of lithium ion. What is that question? Very simple, sir. 0.529 into n square. N square. What is n square? 2, 4 by Z. Right? Atomic number of lithium ion. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, Z. This value, whenever comes, write down x. That is the meaning. Whenever you have this value, write down x. Come on. Now take down second point. What is that? R1 for helium ion. What is that? Very simple, sir. 0.529 into n square, 1 square by Z, helium, hydrogen and helium, 2 is equal to, this is our question to be find out. What I do here, I'll keep 0.529, see here, 0.529, wait a minute, okay. I'll write in this case like this, what? In place of 0.4529, can I write 3x by 4? Yes, sir. 3x by 4. 0.529 is equal to 3x by 4 into dash. Answer is 3x by 8. Come on, enjoy the game. Wow. Go ahead, go ahead. Please try second, third, fourth at home. Okay, is it over? Done. Now, that is the end of your first application. Okay, this is very useful and very important with respect to mains examination. Advanced, we don't expect a radius calculations, however. Conceptual questions and numerical questions, both are possible. Now come to second application. Second application is very, very, very important, both conceptually and numerically for mains and the NEET examination. Of course, all of you are IIT students, scientists. Come on, let us see how to proceed. Energy of orbit. Some people say energy of an orbit, but some people say energy of electron in an orbit. Both are same, right? Please try to concentrate particularly on the screen. This is slightly tough. The students say tough, but I'll say this is a beautiful discussion and enjoyment is there. Energy of orbit, sir, I am very happy to learn that energy of orbit, first orbit E1, second orbit E2, third orbit E3, but why you are calling energy of electron in an orbit? Is it same? Yes, remember that. Suppose, for example, you are sitting in the classroom and your classroom is first floor, ground floor, first floor. Then what you can say, sir, I am at 10 foot from the ground. You are sitting on the floor and you can say, sir, my body is a height of 10 foot from the ground, right? Instead of saying that, can't you say that the first floor roof is also at 10 foot? Yes. The roof height is equal to your height, your body where you are located. Exactly similar way. If electron is in first orbit, energy of electron is E1, energy of orbit. Both are same, one and same. Either you say energy of orbit or you say energy of electron in an orbit, both are one and same. Okay, nice. Now the question is, if you are saying electron energy, then how to proceed? A revolving electron in an orbit possesses revolving. It is in motion. Motion. It has a particle character. It has a moving character. Therefore, we can say it has both type of energies called potential energy as well as kinetic energy. Okay, sir. Job is very simple. If you want to find an energy of electron in an orbit, find out its potential energy. Find out kinetic energy. Add, answer is over. That is today's our discussion is over. Come on, how to proceed for that? If suppose electron is revolving around the nucleus, as if we have this type of motion, if you just take particular shortest possible instant, sir, it is at this point. Okay, this point when you say potential energy. No, no, it is having velocity. You have kinetic energy also. Come on. Total energy of electron in an orbit is equal to potential energy and kinetic energy, sum of these two values. Our job is to find out individually both of them, potential energy of electron in an orbit. This is somewhat beautiful discussion. To find out potential energy, let us go first of all, physics classes. In physics class, you define one word called potential energy. How do you define? Let us just imagine. It is online class where you have to have a very good and strong visualization. Consider that there is a duster kept on the table in front of you, and you are lifting the duster. Whenever you are lifting an object, your hand should do some work, right? Why it is necessary? Sir, I have to overcome the gravitational force. Remember, science says that the amount of work done by the amount of work done by the agent to lift a body to certain height is stored in the body as its potential energy, mgh. We have done it in 9th, 10th class also, but conceptually you may not be having much clarity. Now let us try to enjoy that one. Whenever you are lifting the body, duster, pen, something, whenever you are, let us take a heavier body, whenever you are lifting it, you have to do some work. The agent has to perform some work. That work done will be stored in the body as energy known as potential energy. We say mgh. Now, this is the case of lifting a body. Let us come to our discussion. Achha, in this lifting body, there is one more beautiful example so as to understand future discussion. Suppose, for example, you are lifting a body, then there will be two types of work. One is work you are doing as an agent, and one is work done by gravitational force. The gravitational force wants to take up the body towards downside direction. But the problem is the body is going upward direction. Force is acting in downward direction. Body is going in upward direction. Force and displacement are in opposite direction. In that case, what do you people say? Physics people say negative work is done. Yes. If force and displacement are in the same direction, people say it is called as positive work. If force and displacement are opposite direction, people say negative work. Now, keep this concept in your mind. Come on, let us come to enjoy the game. If suppose we are talking about potential energy, how to cover up this one? For that purpose, consider electron revolving in nth orbit of an atom. General discussion because we are deriving that one. Nth of which nth orbit of an atom with a nucleus carrying Ze. It may be hydrogen atom, it may be helium ion, lithium ion, and beryllium ion, because we have already said that Bohr's model is applicable only in case of uni-electron system, right? Remember, with modification in future classes, we may, sir, it is also applicable for other system, but we have to modify that. At present, I am discussing about uni-electron system. Come on. Now, this is the situation. We have the nucleus here. Charge is hydrogen, 1 proton, 1 E, helium ion, 2 E, lithium ion, 3 E, beryllium ion, 4 E. Right? What is E? Charge of proton, charge of electron, both are same. We are talking about proton here. Now, from the center to this particular point, this is called radius of orbit. Let us say this is nth orbit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something, nth orbit. Come on. Now, if you are having electron here at infinity, listen each and every point with very much clarity. Electron is at infinity. What is the meaning of the word electron is at infinity? The problem is infinity word has nothing to do with us because it does not give you some meaning, right? If you are saying electron is at infinity here, this means to say physically, electron is out of the control of nucleus. Yes. Suppose, for example, electron is the first orbit, electrostatic force of attraction. Second orbit, force of attraction decreases. Third orbit, and so on. If you are taking electron completely outside the control of the nucleus, then we say electron is at infinity. Remember that electron at infinity means electron is not under the control of nucleus. And remember, this is individually questioned. The electron infinity is said to have maximum energy, and that maximum energy is taken, take care of my language, taken as zero. It is taken as zero. So what is maximum energy of electron in infinity? Zero. That's all. Now, what is my job? Now, what I have given you discussion, lift a body. Now, take up the electron from this point close to the nucleus. As we are going closer, electrostatic force of attraction increases. I don't want to keep the electron going inside. I want to keep the electron here only as it is going. I don't want to move the electron close to the nucleus. I want to maintain constant distance as the blue dot is moving. Therefore, if I want to keep the electron here, I should do some work against electrostatic force of attraction. Take care of my language. Again, I am explaining. If I want to retain the electron in nth orbit, I should do some work against electrostatic force of attraction. That work done will be stored in the electron as its potential energy. Okay, sir, I got it. What is potential energy? Simply amount of work done to retain the electron in a specific orbit. Short and sweet. Amount of work done so that electron should not move from a particular orbit to any other higher or lower orbit. Sir, how to calculate it? Very simple. Potential energy of electron revolving in an orbit is measured in terms of the amount of work done to carry an electron from infinity to a distance r from the nucleus. This r may be r1, r2, r3. I am discussing rn, nth orbit. Okay, very good. Once you are having this one, then the problem is how to calculate. Oh, very simple, sir. We people are science background, mathematical background people. We can enjoy the derivation. It is the amount of work done against. Take care of the word against. Okay. Electrostatic force of attraction by the nucleus. Therefore, we take work as negative. That means potential energy of electron is negative. This is one of the question in multiple answers in advanced examination. Which of the following statements are correct? Potential energy of electron in an orbit is negative. It is somewhat confusing, sir. How it is possible to have energy negative? Yes, it is. In this case, we are doing work against, as you said, sir, we are having work done by the gravitational force is in downward direction and the particle is moving in upward direction. If it is so, force and displacement. What I want to do, I want to drag the electron out, and that fellow, electrostatic force of attraction, is attracting me towards its side. Therefore, potential energy is taken as negative. Remember that negative. Remember that negative. Potential energy is equal to minus work. What is work? F into S. Go back to Rutherford's model. F. F is equal to K Q1 Q2 by R square. And what is K? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught in SI units. And every time I said I don't want to go by SI units because I don't want to carry 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. I'll do in CGS system, I'll get the answer in centimeter, or in terms of CGS, I'll change into SI. That is a simple way. However, I am showing you minus K 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, Q1 charge of electron, Q2 charge on the nucleus, maybe hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium by R square into R, F into S, F into S. This RR gets cancelled. Next, potential energy is equal to minus. If I take CGS system, this 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is vanished. In CGS system, minus Z square by R. Remember that point. This is another possible question. All these are asked already, that potential energy of the electron is given as negative, is given as minus Z square by R, right? And if suppose it is hydrogen atom, it will be something simply minus E square by R, because that is equal to 1. Okay, potential energy for hydrogen atom is equal to minus E square by R. Every bit is supposed to be a possible question for us. Now, what to do? Very simple, sir. Let us replace this R. We know R, sir. We have done R derivation just in the previous class. N square h square by 4 pi square me square z. I'll substitute here. Then potential energy is equal to minus Z square by R. What is R? N square h square by 4 pi square me square z. If you simplify, potential energy is equal to minus 4 pi square me4 by h square. That is a constant parameter I have removed. Z square by n square. That is variable. I can change Z 1, 2, 3, 4. I can change n value 1 to infinity, anything. Therefore, potential energy is minus 4 pi square me4 by h square into Z square by n square. If you take all these as constant, a number, mass of electron, charge of electron, Planck's constant. If you take all these constant values, then potential energy is directly proportional to Z square by n square. No, sir. No, sir. Minus Z square by n square. Is it correct? Minus. Take care of this, because most of you will get minus 1 mark because of this minus. Instead of getting plus 4 marks, for example, if I ask you, if you increase principal quantum number, what happens to potential energy? Please, can you help me? If you increase principal quantum number, what happens to potential energy? Hurry up, come on. If you increase the principal quantum number, potential energy increases. Abrar says increases. Muhammad, who is this boy? Okay. Some of you are saying decreases. Okay, okay. Some of you are saying increases. Excellent. Some of you are saying decreases. Why decreases? Sir, inversely proportional. No. Remember, it is inversely proportional along with negative sign. That is always a confusion. Therefore, remember, if you increase principal quantum number, potential energy also increases because it is minus of inversely proportional. Z square, if you increase this, then remember potential energy decreases. That is the way with which we have confusion. Therefore, have a clarity. Okay, come on. Potential energy of electron in orbit is always negative quantity. Point number one. Point number two. For a given atom, that means Z is constant. With increase of principal quantum number, potential energy also increases. Remember this carefully. For a given principal quantum number, that means if you fix up the value of n, then what happens? Very simple, sir. We are having atomic number, potential of an electron decreases. If you increase the atomic number, potential energy decreases because of negative sign, right? Next, kinetic energy of electron. Now, how to proceed for this? Very simple, sir. Kinetic energy is equal to half mv square, right? Let us go ahead with that. Half mv square. Half mv square is mass of electron and half. What is V? Okay, find the value of V and substitute here. Where from we got V? Go back to Mr. Bohr. Ask him, can you please help me? That fellow say, okay, okay. Let us take angular momentum of electron is integral multiple of h by 2 pi. MVR is equal to n into h by 2 pi. From that, I'll get the value of velocity, substitute that one. Then I get here R. Again, substitute the value of R. And if it goes on simplifying, that kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. I have taken v square here. Then I have simplified. Then further, I have taken half this one R square. I know the value of R. I'll simplify that and substitute all these calculations. Please write carefully. And after class, evening or when you are sitting to refer, just refer that whether cancellation is correct or not. Ultimately, I got one expression. Kinetic energy is equal to 2 pi square. Positive value. Positive value. Remember, potential energy is negative. Kinetic energy is positive. 2 pi square me4 by h square. Z square by n square. This is again a constant quantity. If I replace that, kinetic energy is proportional to Z square by n square. Potential energy is proportional to Z square by n square. Same thing. No, sir. This is negative. This is positive. Be careful. Be careful. Now, kinetic energy of electron is positive quantity. Kinetic energy increases with increase of Z. Direct. Now you can say, sir, if you increase Z, kinetic energy increases. If you increase N, kinetic energy decreases. That is quite obvious because it is inversely proportional. Kinetic energy decreases with increase of atomic number. Z is constant. Okay. Now that much is enough. First write down this, then we'll proceed. Write down systematically. Please write proper calculations and later on check also. Go ahead. No one is going to ask you derivations. No one, right? But all these internal points are important because that fellow can create multiple answers. I am talking about advanced examination. Very good. Is it over? Okay, go ahead, go ahead. Those who have finished, once go through all that. Once, don't waste your time. Those who have finished, have a look on derivation once again. Those who are writing, come on, go ahead, hurry up. Abrar, is it over? Now, what is our next job? Our next job is simply you have to add the potential energy and kinetic energy. Then it will become as total amount of energy, right? That is supposed to be on the next screen, and that will take some time. That we'll discuss in the next class tomorrow, right? Is it over, everybody? Right. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.